Hi, everybody, and welcome to Full Moon Medicine as part of Sourced Series. I am Shannon Hugman, and I am so excited to be here with Madeline Jones Stars, one of my favorite Instagram accounts, not to mention just people, too, because there's a person behind the account. Yeah, we're here. We're a little bit behind schedule because Mercury is in the shadow, and, you're going to get a whole bunch of information from me soon about Mercury retrograde and how you can navigate it. But one of the things is just be easygoing and laid back. So, here we are. And whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay or you're watching like next year or whenever, thank you for being here. And before we even dive into the conversation of these astrological energies, I just want to say that you being here right now and you listening and you receiving this information and Madeline being here and me being here, we're really making a difference because this is a conversation about energy and about our true essence as humans. And the more and more we recognize that we are these powerful force fields of energy, and as we align with these collective energies that aren't doing anything to us, that are simply here to support us, like a river has a current, so we can choose to flow with the current. So to me, it's always really important for me to say off the bat that astrology is about cycles and patterns and rhythms and stories and archetypes and symbolism and energy. And it's about translating this language that is astrology, and very energetic language that comes with feelings and thoughts and imagery and visions, and transforming that into English so that you can understand what the heck is going on and choose to align with it. So astrology to me is energy, and astrology to me is a tool that you can cultivate an awareness around. And it's kind of like a roadmap to help us get to the treasure. But the planets are not doing anything to you. And I think when we talk about Mercury retrograde and when we talk about full moons, we can kind of get into like, oh my God, the full moon drove me nuts, or oh my God, Mercury retrograde is the reason why we're a couple minutes late. And I think it's really important to throw it out there that it's not saying Mercury retrograde is forcing this on you, or the full moon is forcing you to have a breakdown or a meltdown, but these energies are supporting you in breaking down. They're supporting you in melting down, because behind that breakdown is a big juicy breakthrough. So thank you all so much for being here. And like I said, here is Madeline Jones. So if you want to say a few words to introduce yourself.
Yay, hi. I'm just excited to be with y'all. First of all, I have to say that I found Shannon also through Instagram, and I was just thoroughly impressed with really just everything, her knowledge, but really her energies. I'm sure you all know, since you already love her, like that's what hits you first. And I was just like, this is like a ball of sunshine, and I feel so safe right now. I feel like this is my first live Google Hangouts, and I'm like, thank God she's a Capricorn. Like, I feel so safe in your arms, Shannon, your digital arms. So I'm super happy to be here and see you guys. And sorry, a few words about me, that's harder. I'm a Libra. I'm like you.
Right.
So I've been doing astrology and reading tarot for a little over 20 years, only because I was raised at my funky mama's knee. So she taught me a lot of cool things. And it's just my purpose and my pleasure to share this with people and to meet and connect with people like Shannon. And I'm just really excited to talk about magic and the full moon and astrology and all that good stuff. I'm super excited.
Yeah, sweet. So I guess, this is a conversation, so it's not just going to be me here interviewing Madeline, although I do have some questions for you, because I'm super excited, because I'm a huge fan of you, Madeline, and it's so, like, I'm kind of feeling a little starstruck in a way.
Oh my God.
So Madeline, again, if you're not following Madeline on Instagram, I think maybe you post on Facebook too, but Instagram is sort of the hub, right?
I do.
Great. So I've got you set with how you can find Madeline. If you're watching this YouTube video, in the comments below, you can click her YouTube channel, which is epic. Madeline will post a monthly forecast, so definitely go watch your December monthly forecast. Watch your sun sign, rising sign, moon sign, all that juiciness. She's so, I guess I'm talking to you, Madeline, but to everybody, Madeline is so generous with what she shares, and it's a potent, deep insight. And I've had the pleasure of looking at Madeline's astrological birth chart, and I know that she's got this hardcore voice that's ready to be heard and ready to be
Aww.
received. So please check her out, madeline.joan.stars on Instagram. But again, you can find the links below. So my first question before we even dive into this specific full moon is, I just want to know, what is astrology to you, Madeline?
I was going to say that I loved what you said about the fact that none of this is happening to us. It's kind of happening with us in a flow, like you said. And it's always really important to establish with people, like, astrology does not direct, like, it reflects. It's just as above, so below. If you want to know why you're feeling funky, you can kind of look at what your transits are, see what's going on in your horoscope, and be like, ah, there it is, full moon. Like, yeah, Mercury retrograde, and it gets a bad rap, and we can go all into that and why that's not exactly true, why it's a good time for review and all those words. But astrology to me is like, I mean, you alluded to this, it's kind of like a weather forecast, like in a blizzard in your underwear, and you wouldn't ask your boss for a raise when Mars is square Pluto, because, you know, Mars action and Pluto power, like, no, you don't want all that opposing stuff. So I just consider it to be a useful tool, as you said. And I love it. It's just, it's fascinating. It's like this perpetual motion machine. It's like a clock made of stars. It's just all my stuff. I just love it so much.
Right?
I'm fangirling on astrology right now.
And, you know, like I said, astrology is a language, and the best way to learn a language is to speak it. And when I first discovered astrology, well, I mean, you always know, everybody knows astrology, but when you start to really get the nitty gritty, I don't even know if that's what I want to say it, the meat and potatoes or whatever, yeah. And you start to work with these transits, it's like, what is this person saying? And it's really cool that we're here on Google Hangouts, because that's kind of my roots. Is back in 2011, I was working with a astrology website, and I was a hostess of these little Google Hangouts shows where I had all different astrologers. I was like the helper. It wasn't my website. Cool. Different astrologers come on, and they would talk about astrology, and I would ask questions, and I would be like the guinea pig, and I would just absorb it all. And really, my foundation of my understanding of astrology is definitely intuitive, because I could guess people's birthdays when I was a little girl, and it freaked me out. But coming on here and talking and using the language and practicing it. So the fact that I'm like back a few years later on a Google Hangout with an astrologer / epic creator, mover, shaker, I just feel very full circle, which is fitting for this full moon, because this is the last full moon of 2016. And, you know, numerology and astrology are very intertwined in some ways. And we're at the end of a 9-year, which is the last year of a 9 cycle. So this is like full moon is time to let go, release. And yes, you're letting go and releasing of the last 29, 30 days, but in a way, you're also kind of reviewing the last 9 years, or I am, at least. Maybe you're choosing a little differently. So it's important to recognize that this is such an exciting full moon of a time of really kind of like tidying things up and getting clarity around maybe why I thought that about something, or why I did that about something. And, you know, so much of this full moon is about communication and speaking and sharing. And so you out there watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this, because like I said, I feel as though us right here, right now, we're early adopters of a language that, if I have anything to do with it, everybody's going to know in the next, like, 10, 15, I don't know how long. But this is, like, some serious, awesome, potent wisdom. So, yeah, woo, full moon. So full moon was exact last night, but we're always in this full moon energy for a couple days before and a couple days after. So I would just love if you could just step up to the podium, Madeline, and give us some of your medicine for this specific full moon.
Oh, I love that. And I love the way you put it. I know I'm fangirling out myself, and I meant to say that I also, like, well, you know that I got to work with Shannon, and, you know, I'm sorry, she didn't tell me to do this, but I have to give her a shout out and say that if you need somebody to look at your chart and tell you what is up, she knows what's up. Okay, sorry. Now, full moon medicine. So I think of this as, like you said, I mean, full moon in Gemini, that's all about communication. And you and I talked very briefly about Saturn before we got on here. And I feel like that's so important because a full moon always opposes the sun, meaning it's just directly opposite from the sun. And the sun happens to be conjuncting Saturn right now, so it's opposing Saturn, or was when it was exact. And so it's this kind of like, Saturn is rules and discipline and maturity and limits. And then the moon is like emotions and flux, and it's almost like they're opposites. So it's kind of like walk your talk. Like, what do you really, how do you realize, how do you really make real the things that you think and discuss and find interesting? Because Gemini is all about learning and talking and sharing information, just like we're doing here. And it's like, okay, well, now what are you going to do with it? And some of us may be feeling, I mean, full moons are the endings, the culminations, and that can be a good or a bad thing. It's like my cup runneth over, or my pot boileth over, and there's like hot water everywhere and it's a mess. Like, but either way, it's a message that something is culminating. And I feel like we're seeing so much of that. We're seeing so much, I want to use the word turmoil a little bit as a result of people communicating and this freedom of information, which is fabulous. But it's like, yeah, we're seeing some real changes as a result of people being able to communicate and share so freely. And in the long run, I feel obviously they're going the right way. But full moon medicine is like, what fascinates you and how can you bring more of that into your life? How can you walk that talk? How can you use stability and rigidity and rules to, this is so cheesy, but to build bridges instead of building walls? Like, how can we break down walls and use those bricks and build them into a road where we can meet each other and actually like figure some things out and build some new structures that are actually beneficial to all of us as we're growing and changing and exchanging. So I think that's my full moon spiel.
Oh my gosh, so
good. So good.
I want to hear yours.
Yeah. So where, I love that, building bridges instead of building walls, because I think that we are in a time where it's becoming really obvious that the structures of our world are based in a lot of walls, and a lot of like, and I think we can talk about Pluto in Capricorn. When Pluto in Capricorn is a super long cycle, a really exciting cycle. Maybe we can powwow about that specifically, but just to give you like a little bit of medicine about Pluto in Capricorn, which is potent. It started in 2008 and it's going, I think it's till 2023, early 20s. Anyway, so it's the long haul, and Pluto is the energy of transformation. Now, Pluto is in the energy of Capricorn, and Capricorn is the structure. Capricorn is the establishment. And so the structures and the establishments and the systems, and what I like to say is how we do things as humanity must completely transform. It is completely transforming. We don't really, resistance is a little futile in this situation. However, I always see that Pluto energy works in three stages. There's the death, then there's the like, okay, let's go through the rubble. That's broken. All right, we can keep that. That can be fixed. No, that's done. And then there's the next stage, which is like, what are we going to build? So I feel as though we are at the climax of the like, okay, that's broken. That can be fixed. And as we enter this next year, 2017 to me, and I got kind of a little bit of shivers, which is always kind of confirmation to me. 2017 is now saying, let's rebuild. Yeah, but like when you rebuild a house, you have to obviously start bit by bit. You don't rebuild a house overnight, and I do feel it's going to take like probably the next 9 years, but I'm so confident that we'll have this squeaky, shiny, clean, efficient, based in humanity, compassionate world. Now that's just me, but I choose to be optimistic. And I feel like this energy of this full moon is all about the optimism. It's like, the sun is in Sagittarius, which to me, I always say in Sagittarius energy. Now, this is, if you are a Sagittarius, if your sun sign is Sagittarius or your moon sign, this is like you throughout your life. But when, just for those people who are new or who are listening for the first time, when we say the sun is in Sagittarius, what we're talking about, or the full moon right now, we're talking about current energies, where the planets are transiting right now. So the sun is in Sagittarius, and even though I'm a Capricorn and Madeline's a Libra, we're experiencing Sagittarius energy. And this is where we kind of have to elevate the astrological conversation to realize that you're all the signs. It's no more like, I'm going to look in the newspaper and read the 3 sentences for the Capricorn, and like, if that's all, and it's not real if it doesn't make sense. It's like, no, you're all of it. You're all the energies. And an energy that's in focus right now, or highlighted right now, is Sagittarius. So like I said, to Sagittarius, optimism is oxygen. It's what you, what keeps you alive in this energetic climate. And it's not about being like naive and ignoring what's going on, but it's about saying, hey, maybe that's going on, but then I believe we can overcome that. Or I believe that there's a new thing going on. And that word believe is keyword, hot word. And the reason is because in Sagittarius realm, it's the big picture. Anything is possible. There's potential. And we're going to talk about this kind of next, but the planet Saturn is transiting this area for 2.5 years, and we're in it. So it's very relevant right now. And so in the Sagittarius realm, we're really asked right now to commit to our highest potential, commit to our biggest dreams, and stop freaking limiting ourselves based on what these broken structures have told us who we are. Now, this is like maybe easier if you're younger, maybe depending on how much intensity you are, how much you can handle raw truths. And if you're overwhelmed by the prospect of change, it's not here to say like, hey, you need to stop being afraid and dive face first into everything is great and everything's going to be okay. But what it does mean is saying, all right, let's realize that our belief systems and what we believe to be true about ourselves and about our world and about our parents and about our boyfriends and girlfriends and all of the above is the kind of that structure that creates our reality. So those beliefs are like, I kind of want to say like the scaffolding that the energy forms around to create our physical reality. So physical reality has a lot to do with what you're believing to be true. And that's probably why, you know, people who believe the world is a bad place can find a lot of examples about that. But people like myself who believe in miracles, who believe in potential, who believe in magic, who believe in that life supports us, we also experience that. And so it's about not necessarily diving, this full moon is not necessarily about diving face first into put on the rose-colored glasses, don't pay the bills, avoid the conflict with the spouse, but it's about getting really aware and clear about what do you believe. And it's not about figuring out how you change it. It's not about shunning yourself for believing that. It's not about, but it's about just recognizing what do you believe. And once you recognize what you believe, then become aware of how that belief is popping up into your reality. And take this opportunity of a full moon, which can, bring things to light, sometimes triggers. Let those triggers be like your one-on-one tutor showing you what you're believing to be true. So if you're really stressed out about money right now, or you're really stressed out about your partner, or what are you believing to be true? Are you believing that you need someone to complete you? It's okay if you are. I believe that too sometimes. Are you believing in lack? That's okay, totally, they're right there with you. But what I'm doing is, as anxiety bubbles up into my life around money, instead of jumping on that worry train and picking at the wound and never letting that scab heal, I'm saying to myself, oh, here's that lack. And that lack can come up when I'm buying something, but lack is coming up for me hardcore when I'm trying to schedule my time, or when I'm looking at how much energy I have, or I'm looking at how many, the ego in me is looking at how many followers I have, or, the lack comes in, that belief in lack. Yeah, maybe I identify it because it has to do with money, but then it has these roots that trickle in and take every area of my life. And, and it's just about me saying, hey, wait a minute, that's lack. That's lack. And almost like gang, and you know, we have also a lot of energy that's supporting us in detaching right now and taking this look at, oh, okay, yeah, isn't that interesting? And please know that you don't need to know how to fix everything. You don't need to know how to force yourself to be optimistic. You don't need to know how to believe in yourself. All you need to do is become aware of when you're not believing in yourself. Become aware of when you are being super pessimistic. And then be the observer. See that, you know, your mind is like this movie screen, and and just take that minute, because then if you have that space, the energies right now are so supportive in healing those for you that it will happen in a way that you do not need to micromanage that process.
Yes, I love it. Yes, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Like, it's funny how you can just notice something, and even in just noticing it without judging it, that energy around it can dissipate. Like, that static around it can dissipate. Like, putting judgment on top of something you're already not enjoying. Let's say you're believing something like Shannon was saying about lack, or about whatever it is, I need this, or I can't live without this. As soon as you stop judging you for that, like, for that, it just, so much of that weight just drops right off, and you can kind of go on with your life and start recognizing where that comes from. Like, and I love that you do meditations, and I know Shannon's offering a full moon meditation again. I know I keep plugging her. She did not ask me to do this, so she's probably like embarrassed right now, but I'm doing it anyway. But that's where, like, I feel like
you can keep going.
plug away. Well, I was just going to say that where things like meditation can come so in handy, like, I mean, yes, there is like the little bit of respite you can get even just from like shutting off, you know, your mind and closing your eyes for 5 minutes. But it's like, whoa, there comes my cat flying into the frame to frighten y'all. Meditation, rah! So there's like, when you do it cumulatively, though, when you continue the meditation practice over time, one of the things that happens is you just start to notice what kind of thoughts bubble up out of nowhere, quote unquote, like the deep recesses of your unconscious. And it's this, like she was saying, this ability to just look at it without judging it and be like, oh, that's interesting. Huh. And you kind of let it float by, and then it just kind of detaches, as you were saying, like those tendrils, those roots start to kind of loosen, and the knot kind of unties itself a little bit. So completely agree. And the other thing I think about Sagittarius, because I don't want to be like, I second everything she says, but I do. But the only thing that I would really add is that Sagittarius is also like, how can I grow from this? How can my mind expand from this? What can I learn from this? How can this broaden my horizons instead of limiting them to like this pinhole of my experience? Like, yes, this crappy thing happened or whatever, but it's like, don't become, you know, tied to your story in the bad way. Let your story be a catalyst and not a chain and a reason to say this is where I am, why I am where I am. So like, I love that about Sagittarians, is they're always just like out of bounds. How do I these walls? What walls? What borders? Like, this is all of us, and we're all here. We're a human family. And now I'm going off on like a human family tangent, but yes, totally affirming everything you just said.
But that human family is really so what this is fundamentally about, is about shifting our beliefs. Well, again, I'm just going to always throw it back to these beliefs, because we believe that we're separate because society told us to. We believe that when I get something, I believe that, I don't believe this, but part of me, or the small self, a belief, you know, in that belief in lack, we'll just keep using it as an example.
A limiting belief.
That belief, that limiting belief in lack, exactly, is believing that if you want a reading right now and you sign up with me, then that's something Madeline doesn't get. And all of a sudden you didn't, right. And now Madeline's out, and there's
right, you screwed scarcity.
Me. Yeah, exactly. And that is not the case. And the more right. I've shifted my beliefs around lack by just those micro minutes of awareness, the more and more I'm realizing that, hey, we all win. We all win. I want more than anything for you to book a reading with Madeline, and her website is below. And I want more than anything for you to receive her full moon flash sale, which we're going to talk about, and all this stuff, because I really believe in the conversation and the energy of this new paradigm. And Sagittarius is this no walls. It's like, infinite potential, no limits. How big are we going to go? What are we going to do? And then our beliefs can come in and support that expansion. But where we're at, or at least where I'm at and some people are at, is like we have these beliefs that act as walls. And we have these beliefs that come in and say like, well, no. And then we're like with our human blinders on, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is all that's possible. And I love what you said about the pinhole. Now,
Yes.
I kind of, it's an awesome way, especially in a full moon, is to look at the contrast of the signs. So we have Sagittarius, Sun over here in Sagittarius. I should get like a whiteboard here. Sun in Sagittarius, and then we got the moon in Gemini. So a great way, and if you're new at studying astrology and you're wanting to learn and you're wanting to interpret the energies, I always love looking at opposites and looking at how you can grow from the contrasting energies. So we've talked a lot about where the Sun is in Sagittarius and wanting that expansion, and I definitely said this, you don't need to know how. You're just supposed to bask in the potential right now and the visions right now. Conversely, we got Gemini over here, the moon, where the triggers may come up, where the insecurities and the fears, and Gemini is the house. It's the little pinhole. It's the little tiny details. It's, do you have your T's crossed and dotted your I's, and all those thoughts and all the things I could be doing, or things I should be doing, or things I'm not doing, or things I did last year, and things I don't want to do next year, and the things he did and the things he said, and that conversation I heard when I was 3. Like it's like all these they just so stimulated this energy.
Yes.
Now, I said we were going to talk about Saturn and Sagittarius. So Saturn over here in Sagittarius, I'm just going to give a little 101 about what that means to me. So Saturn is I like to call him the university professor. And he comes in with these high levels of learning, these high lessons. And they're not always easy. And we have to study, and we have to put in the commitment. We have to sometimes show up to class at least, or we got to show up for the exams at least. And we have to, put something in to get something out. And so Saturn is in this Sagittarius area. And this really started like the summer of 2015, but we really checked in September 2015. And it's going till January 2018. So what this is saying to me is that if we put in the work right now of that awareness around our beliefs, or we put in that effort to embrace optimism, we put in that effort to surrender those hows, to become aware of when we're obsessively worrying or overthinking things, and not trying to necessarily stop it, but be aware that we're there and we're not a victim of it. We're going to get a lot out of that. And this cycle happens I believe Saturn's transits are around every 28 years. So we are updating beliefs from the last 28 years. Our minds are literally having system upgrades. And let's just take a moment and look at everything that's happened in 28 years. So in a way, and again, this is all energy. So how this plays out it's not up to you how you want to relate your life to it. But in a way, we all have these archaic beliefs that have come into the spotlight in 2015. Prior to 2015, we have these archaic beliefs that are based in what reality was like 20 years ago. And we didn't have Apple the way we have Apple, and we didn't have iPhones, and we didn't have awesome essential oils so easy. We didn't have Google Hangouts. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have we didn't even have internet. So there's a lot of possibilities to imagine for the next 28 years. Absolutely. And what is triggering you, or what is blocking you, is again a little hey, look at this belief. What are you believing about this? And know that the awareness right now and the mini micro moments of meditation, which is just about saying, I'm bigger than this reality, or reminding yourself that you're more than what your thoughts are telling you. Yeah. Those things are going to pay big, big, big rewards, which is why I'm so excited about the future, because we're building this new foundation. So what do you want to share about Saturn? And also Saturn, Madeline's just coming out of her Saturn return. So I mean, just Give me some Saturn medicine. Give it to me.
Oh Lord. Well, gosh, and gosh, I don't want to give Saturn a bad name at all because he's a great guy. He's like, I like what you said about the university professor. Like, I never have put it that way, but that is absolutely true. I think of him as kind of like a harsh but good father, like like a drill sergeant, like a military father who wants you to succeed, but oh, damn it, you will succeed, and you will succeed by shining your shoes and getting up at this time and doing this. The discipline, it's all about that discipline. And I mean, I have to say, of course, like, again, loved everything you said about Saturn and Sagittarius and what the next about a year and a half or so up until January 2018, as you said, is going to be about Saturn. Like, and Saturn is about crystallization, and we can get into the Saturn return in a second, but the Sagittarian thing of outgrowing our limits and our bonds, that makes me really excited for what's coming in 2018. And that is hard to say as a person in the US. I won't go any deeper into that. But I'm, as you are, optimistic, and I'm hopeful. And I think that we can, the structure and the limits and the pressure and the wall building ability of because I mean, structure doesn't have to be walls. As I said, structure can be bridges, structure can be skyscrapers built to fit everybody so that everybody has a place to sleep and has food to eat, and infrastructure. And I mean, Saturn in Sagittarius is a pretty glorious aspect for infrastructure changes, I think. So I'm hopeful about that too. Like, okay, we're starting to see the old ways just aren't working anymore. The United States is also in its Pluto return right now, like literally 1776, like Pluto. Yeah, exactly. So I'm tripping about that, but I won't go off into that. But that makes a lot of sense to me considering this year. But anyway, point being, I have this great hope that Saturn in Sagittarius is going to make all of us really think about what we believe and live it. And that if you have this ideal and you have this, and then, no, I want to go off on so many tangents, but it's Jupiter in Libra. And I only mention that because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter in Libra is like social justice, like a beautiful bell ringing for social justice. And Saturn in Sagittarius is like, okay, if we put our nose to the grindstone, if we really walk our talk, and if we really live what we feel and we believe, we can grow and we can get out of this old way, and we can find like this human community, this human family, and really interconnect. And again, like I pray for that, obviously, but that is what I think. And I'm excited. I am excited. It's, oh God, the Saturn return thing. Okay. So really quick, as Shannon alluded to, Saturn does take exactly 28 years. So if I'm you when you were born, Saturn takes 28 years to make a full circle back to exactly where he was when you were born. And that is called your Saturn return. So when you're about 28 to 30, and then again when you're around 56 to 31, because his orbit's a little strange, so it might be like a few months off here and there. But around those ages, around those 28-year markers, and if you're lucky enough to make it past, you know, the 56 one, that one is awesome. But the thing is, Saturn comes in with that pressure, and it's like that sergeant, that military father coming in to check your room. And did you clean your room? And did you eat your vegetables? Oh, you're not fit. Doesn't look like you ate your vegetables. And then you start to feel it. It's like the pressure is suddenly on. It was fun to not eat your vegetables and to let your room get crappy until your military dad came home and surprised you and went, oh, what is this? Fix it. And that is what my Saturn return was. So as a rule breaker, I will say, for those of you coming up around that time, start putting some discipline, start putting some good structures into your life. I mean, and Saturn does rule the material sort of mundane things, like the time you get up, how much you sleep, how, you know, your habits, your eating habits. Start looking after those things, and then the crystallization will be a very good and beneficial crystallization. Like, you see the outcome of all of your efforts. So it's like you see the outcome of your efforts, whether they were good or bad. And that's definitely, it's earth shaking, but it's a good earth shaking. It's like shedding a skin, but it happens sort of fast, like someone rips your skin off, but it's for your own good. But he really is a father. So there's that sense that you're going to come out of it better than you went into it, whether you went into it with good practices or without. but you'll be happier if you can learn from it while you're in it, because Saturn's all about, the lesson and taking what you can from it, letting the pressure make you, like a diamond and not like an accordion cartoon character from Looney Tunes, which is a little bit what I was after mine. But I've stretched out now. I'm good now.
I love that. I love that. And something that, one of my favorite things, I'm just loving this so much. I love having these conversations about these energies, because I feel like the insights are just exponential. Just like any kind of conversation when people bring their viewpoints. So this is so great. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I just love talking astrology. But something that just came to me while you were speaking, that I've never actually thought about Saturn and Sagittarius this way, and I think about a lot of these things a lot. So this is new, this is fresh, hot off the press, is really, Saturn is that crystallization process, which is such a, it's the reality maker. It forms our physical realities. Right. And we are given this opportunity right now, and it's started in 2015, really highlighted with this full moon, because we're in Sagittarius. Yeah. And I feel like we're definitely home stretching it. 2017 is not going to be like, I feel really excited about it. However, what I feel like is again, Saturn being this crystallization, this taking form, and Sagittarius being our beliefs, is we're given this opportunity to change how we believe reality is created. And we always think we believe, again, we're updating beliefs from the last 28 years, like I said. So 20 some years ago, even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I definitely believed that hard work creates reality, and you got to go out there and make it happen, and how many hours you show up, and how much calories you burn, or how much these things you do. Now I'm like in a complete kind of twilight zone of like, it's all about how I feel inside. And if I believe in myself, then reality will take form based on that. And there's really not so much, I think it's kind of an epidemic in spiritual conversations. Right. Because you gotta manifest, you gotta go make it happen, you gotta attract your desires, you have to do these things. And then when you're still not believing in yourself, or you're still not believing or you're still believing in lack, that's creating your reality, no matter how many vision boards you make, no matter how many Abraham Hicks you listen to, no matter how many things you do. It's not until it clicks inside that physical reality can start to take form from that revolutionized perspective. And so we're given this chance to really, what do you believe about the creation process? Because let's throw it back to Earth. Look at Earth's creation process. The trees don't question when the leaves fall. The baby gestating in the stomach, in the womb, isn't like, am I getting, is enough happening? Like the caterpillar isn't like, oh, hell no, I'm not changing. I'm not going into that cocoon. Those are natural cycles that happen that are awesome. And as humans, we are not separate from that. We're all the same energy, but we have minds. And I think that this full moon will really show you where your mind is segregating you from the force of life, segregating you from your potential, segregating you from being in that space of surrender and magnetic allowance, where life shows you the next step. I wrote this today as I was just doing some writing. I wrote, the only thing that should be on our to-do list is like allow, is like take a deep breath. And as somebody, a Capricorn, who's got like to-do list this mile high, I'm like erasing all of that. It's like hurting me as I'm doing it. And I'm like, okay, just allow. Like, what is this? But I'm getting it. It's starting to make sense. So please cut yourself some slack, especially give yourself, I would say the rest of December. If you're here listening to this, you've done enough. And it's not you listening to this that is enough, although kudos to you for listening. But if your energy brought you here into this point in time, into this conversation, into this, because we're all energy, right? And so if we're all at the same level right now, whether you're live broadcasting or you're listening, we're at the same level, and we're all at this very evolved, innovative energy. And even if your mind's not telling you that, or your mind's comparing you to me, or compare whatever your mind's telling you, that's not true. You being here is enough. There's a little permission slip that you can take the next 2 weeks and just check out. Just relax.
Yes.
Let life carry you. And I'm pretty confident, like, a lot of gears are, and not to mention Mercury's going retrograde, but then I think come the new year, I'm feeling like mid-January, it's going to kick into gear. But what that's going to look like is, like, I feel like the universe will have it lined up for you at that point. If you can get, or I mean, if I can, I guess I'm talking to myself more than anything else. Everything I ever share is always for me. I always have to take notes on what I say because I don't remember. But if you will give yourself the space right now, space to just, again, be the observer of the thoughts, give yourself that space and truly set the intention to believe in yourself and believe in life. I really feel like come mid-January, you're not going to have to go out there searching. It will be in front of you. And the thing is, if it's not in front of you, or you don't think it's in front of you, maybe you're not looking in the right places, right?
Right. And I think, like, and you kind of alluded to this too, and it's kind of similar to what we said also earlier about not holding on to, like, judgment about the things that you feel. It's like, if we can embrace, like, you are enough. Don't need a different job, don't need a different boyfriend, don't need different clothes, girlfriend, house, none of it. Just as you are. Just as you are. You're perfect. Like, you're exactly where you need to be right now in this moment. You're exactly where you'll need to be tomorrow. Believe it, and it shall be. Like, that's just, I think I agree with you. Like, that's all it is. That's what it is. So that's all it is. Simple, not easy. There's a difference. Like, simple, not easy, but important. And it's good that it's simple. At least we can grasp this and be like, okay, I have a Post-it. No shame in my game. You are enough. Like, people, and again, you alluded again to that spiritual community, and it's like, if you are here listening to this, you probably have some issues with sensitivity, because along with sensitivity comes this compassion, this empathy, and you do experience things at a deep level, and your strings do get plucked. And you got to remember, you're enough.
Yeah.
Super important.
And just like that tree is enough,
or water is enough. And you would never, like, or at least I would never, like, look at a body of water and be like, nah.
If only you were bluer.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you so big?
Maybe I guess I've been like, this is a little cold, but I guess that I live in Canada, so.
That's fair.
But yeah, I love that, Madeline. That's perfect, because the thing is, even times when you, like, when I say, just allow,
Yeah.
I'll hear a voice in my head being like, how the fuck do I do that? Like, what does that even mean? Allow.
Allow what?
But I think that that's the best way to describe what I mean by allowing is accepting, allowing yourself to accept life. And I think also with that word allow is, like, you're allowed to be happy, or you're allowed to be whoever you want to be.
Sad.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Really good. Awesome. So this has been so fun. I just keep looking down because I'm also sharing kind of behind the scenes on Facebook. So thank you to everybody who's been watching on Facebook Live and commenting, and loving all the comments there. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube, whether you're watching now or later. And if you've been hearing any background music, I live with musicians and they're doing band practice. So, if you're wondering, what is that rock music playing? That's the Fermented Oranges. They're pretty great. Awesome. So anyways, but what I also just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Madeline, for being here and sharing this. And like I said, Madeline Jones Stars on Instagram. You can find that below. And also, Madeline has a flash sale going on that is, like, a pretty amazing extensive personal reading. It's only $15, which is like, act now. Which I just love, and I'm so excited about that. And so that is also in the comments below, or the caption below where you can get the flash sale. And this whole little thing is brought to you by my free sourced series, which is just little emails, little inspirational hits from me about how I navigate this human existence. And maybe it's, you know, it is helping you as well. We've had some great feedback. So I love everybody who's joined that. And if you're part of Source Series or you signed up for this and you got that email from me that brought you this link, all the deets of Madeline and the sale, the full moon flash sale is all in there. The pretty little bow makes it really easy. Follow, subscribe to her Instagram, subscribe to my Instagram, or no, my YouTube. That's what I meant to say. You can subscribe, you can follow is the right word on Instagram, but then subscribe on YouTube and just
all
do all
the
the
things.
Yeah, exactly. Do all the things. And I'm Shannon Hugman. If you're new to me, you can find me at shannonhugman.com or shannonhugmanastrology.com or Shannon Hugman on Instagram. It's pretty cool because Madeline and I, we both post little daily forecasts. So I love to like cross-reference because there's always like a lot of juiciness and like, oh, I wrote something that makes sense. So if you follow us both and just intentionally watch those forecasts, it will help to start to sort of allow that astrological / esoteric tarot information to just sort of like start to permeate. It's really fun, easy. It's just awesome. So, and then the other thing I do want to say is that I also have a full moon flash sale going on, but for mine is a group reading. So it breaks it down for each of the 12 signs. And then I do a little distance Reiki meditation, and that's $4.44. And you can get that also below. So, you know, what I really love is the different bases we have covered here because, you know, those general energies are really great. So you could always, you know, tap into that with my offering. But then there is some serious value in a one-to-one tarot card, oracle card reading with Madeline. I have been a client of hers, and it was just like, I still go back and read my reading, and
dude, ditto. I still go back and listen to the chart that you read for me. So thank you. I really do. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I love what you're doing. I love your essence. I love your voice, and again, I love that you said yes to this and came here. And I love, you know, everybody who's watching. I love that you've said yes to this. Thanks for signing up for Source Series. If you haven't signed up for that, it's all free, and I would just absolutely be so grateful for your yes, and that's also in the captions of this YouTube video. So, like I said, the music behind me has been the Fermented Oranges. You can find them on Facebook as well. But anyways, so yeah, anything you'd like to say, Madeline, before we end the broadcast?
I just want to say, okay, sorry for my cat's butt. First of all, that was like a perfect, that was very good. But just thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate you so much, Shannon, for inviting me. So thank you. It was like such a pleasure. I was so excited. Like when I found you, I was just stoked. Like, I feel like, I know that I'm throwing around like the phrase like stellar sister, but there's definitely some, you know, vibing happening there. So like, I'm just really excited and stoked. And I hope that you all, if for the minority of you that found Shannon through me, I hope that you will go and follow her because she really is amazing. And I've already recommended her to a bunch of you probably if you're hearing this. So just thank you. And I hope you'll follow me too if you enjoyed this, and definitely sign up for Source Series and just watch what this chick does in general, because this is far from, this is like less than just the beginning. This is like the seed cracking open. So you have no idea the mighty redwood happening right in front of your face right now. This is the weirdest metaphor ever, but I meant it to be nice.
No, actually, that was exactly what I needed to hear, because as that Capricorn to me, I'm like, why isn't the Empire built yet?
But I'm ready.
Like, what am I doing wrong? And then it's like,
nothing. You're allowing. You're allowing.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for your words. It means a lot to me. It really does. And yeah, just gonna go ahead and end this broadcast and just send an infinite love and gratitude to all of you.